Hello everybody and welcome back to the final video of the EA press conference, and probably the one that people are the most excited for, which is Star Wars Battlefront 2, published by EA and coming to the PC as well as maybe the other two systems, but they weren't very specific about what systems it's coming for yet because it's a big game and it's going to have a lot of stuff coming to it. So we'll kind of do these in a different order. Pre-rendering, I'm going to put the footage on screen in a minute because pre-rendering, very good. There was only like one little bit of pre-rendering, again for the story, but 90% of it was gameplay. Like, they wanted to show full gameplay. They made sure it was scripted gameplay because each section or each map is split into 3 sections. That is a running phase. So if we use this wall here as kind of like our Star Wars Battlefront 2 map, phase 1 is the travelling phase, where the droids or the attackers will travel down a set road until they reach the city, which is over here. So obviously the good guys had to lose in order to show the battle in the city. But what happens in the gameplay is the stormtroopers are fighting the droids, and there is this huge tank rolling down a path towards the city gates or the palace gates, and you have to fight them off. And you know, it's very like Overwatch like. You've got different classes. So the droids, for example, have got the thin little spindly droids, and they've got the big silver blaster on their arm ones, and they've got Darth Maul, which is obviously a commander. And then the good guys obviously have stormtroopers, higher level stormtroopers like commanders, jetpack stormtroopers, which work a bit like Spyro, where they can jump up and launch a rocket, and of course the Jedi. But the good guys had to lose in order to show all 3 phases. So the tank rolled down, blew up the palace walls, and here we are inside the palace. So there was many different corridors. This is actually kind of like perfect for the palace, because there's like corridors here, and then the inner sanctum at the end. And you can no longer use your tank, but you'll have gained enough XP, because it's a little bit like Paladins or Battleborn, where you get a bit of XP to get extra skills. So whoever's obviously defended the most has got some extra skills in order to help either push or defend. And the gameplay should have been playing for a while now, by the way, but you won't see the actual storming of the palace for a moment while I'm running through this. But anyway, after you go through the palace, which is phase 2, again scripted, the good guys had to lose. We get to phase 3, where Darth Maul busts down the inner sanctum, and we are fighting Darth Maul around the throne room in the inner sanctum. At that point it did become live gameplay, and both teams were trying a lot harder, but really, because they kind of threw the first 2 phases to allow EA to show off all the footage, they just got creamed in the inner sanctum because they didn't have enough experienced troops, or they just didn't have enough experience to level up people to hold off the attack. So they just got creamed. They couldn't hold out. And not only did we get to see like the on-the-ground trooper gameplay, but throughout the course of the footage, we also got to see a lot of the other special footage. Like, we got to see the special tank summon footage, as well as the mid-air dogfighting footage. And they have, from, you know, the director of EA said, look, we listened to what people wanted to say, what people had to say. We got all of the feedback from how shit the first one was, and EA have kind of listened, because obviously Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises, and they want to make sure that that's the one that's given them all the cash. So they have listened and done a lot of updates. So the gameplay, as we've shown, really fun. There's a lot of gameplay there, and I'm kind of a Star Wars fan. I'd be tempted to buy it, but I don't know. But the gameplay is looking pretty good. I kind of dislike the whole leveling system, like who's got more XP is basically determine the winner, because some people might have a bad run, and even if you get to phase 3, there's no coming back really, because you've already lost too much experience to have that come from behind victory. Whereas in other games it's very easy, like just say Overwatch for example, they can push it to pretty much right near the end, but then you could have the come from behind victory and just storm it in the next round and get the payload all the way to the end because there's no real experience system, so you'll never be at a disadvantage. So they may need a bit of retweaking on the experience system, but overall though, the gameplay, the ground troops, the chicken walker mech thingy, which might have already shown up, the dog fighting in the air, the tanks, obviously the Jedi and Sith gameplay, it's all looking really fun, really good. And as for the description, well, I just pretty much described everything, and 5 out of 5 because they give even more descriptions. They say about each tank having specific, cannon shots, how the dogfights can do all this other stuff. They were very descriptive in this particular section of the press conference. So good on them. And the graphics, they look like Star Wars. Like, I can see a little bit of low texture in here and there, and there is a couple of little things that I did notice flickering and out if you look very closely at the footage. But again, it's just beta footage, so that can be ironed out. So the gameplay, looking 4 out of 5, it's looking pretty good, which obviously, now that we've talked about the gameplay ad nauseum, telling you how the tanks roll through the city into the inner sanctum, we've already covered the gameplay. So, final verdict for Star Wars, 4 out of 5. Battlefront 2, looking pretty good so far. They've certainly made a lot of improvements, and obviously this was the one that everybody was waiting for. This was the one that everybody was banking on, and it did good. It's done good. So you know what, Star Wars Battlefront, you get into the good games. So you just sit in there, you get into the good games. And hold on, let me just hold a dragon egg. Oh. I thought there was an achievement for holding the dragon egg. Yeah, hold the dragon egg. Oh, I bet I've got... No, because that one's already popped. That one is already, like, gone golden, so why can I not, like, hold the dragon egg in my hand? Or do I have to... Oh, there you go. Holding the egg. I'm the best. So, yeah, that was Battlefront. Oh, one other thing before we end while we're doing the wrap-up. A lot of things that people were disappointed at. The one thing that people were really, really disappointed at was there was no story mode revealed. Like, there is a story mode, and they confirmed a story mode, but they just skipped over it for the multiplayer, which a lot of people were disappointed at because they focused so much on Alex Hunter's story in FIFA and that other guy's story in NBA, and it's like, you spent so long focusing on the story mode for the sports. Why could we not have the story mode for the other people as well? Why couldn't we have the story mode for, Star Wars? We want the Star Wars story mode. Where's the Star Wars story mode? So it never came to be. The Star Wars story mode is gone into the ether. So a lot of people were quite disappointed at that particular incident. But what they did see, though, of the gameplay, a lot of people were very excited and have given EA a lot of positive words about the Battlefront 2, including myself, as you can see from this video. So, yeah, good job, EA. Out of, like, the 8 things you showed, you got 2 out of 8. So, congratulations. I guess you're not complete and total shit like you were the past year, where there was absolutely nothing of interest that anybody cared about. So, yay on you, I guess. But for now, that does end off the EA press conference. EA is now complete, and we are going to be looking forward to the Microsoft conference tonight, where, due to that NBA thing, Project Scorpio may indeed get released. We may find some information about Project Scorpio, but we'll see. But before we have the E3, and now I'm running out of space because we've covered the entire conference and I've still got all the videos on the desktop, so they'll need to be cleared, ready for the Microsoft one tonight. But yes, so that's the end, and we may see Project Scorpio. However, before we go on to the Microsoft conference, we will have 2 extra videos to come because two things got announced while I was asleep. Two very big things that everybody's really hyped for. Like the first one everybody's like, oh my god, yes. And then the second one, which dropped literally an hour ago, everybody was like, oh shit, it's here! So people very excited. So we're going to cover them, and then I'm going to clear all my footage ready for the Microsoft conference later tonight. But for now, if you did indeed enjoy the Star Wars Battlefront 2, please do leave a like. Do tell me what you're thinking of Battlefront 2. Are you excited for Battlefront 2? Did you ever play Battlefront 1? How much are you looking forward to this second updated, upgraded version where they've fixed some of the issues? Do let me know down below. But for now, if you did like the video, do feel free to leave a like. If you can't wait to see the other E3 footage, because we're going to be covering all the footage, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so you do not miss out. And of course there are links down below to my DeviantArt and Twitter if you want to see my first reactions to the press conferences when they're being streamed live, as well as a link to my public Discord if you just want to come in and chat with everybody on their thoughts, and a link to my Patreon if you'd like to go an extra mile. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you with the last two games before the Microsoft conference.